channel. Today I'm going to be running through what I've got as far as my week 6 picks go. So this week on a bye week we have the Houston Texans, the Tennessee Titans, the Las Vegas Raiders, and the Detroit Lions. So we're not going to be picking any of those teams. But this week we got 14 games as this is the start of, the bye weeks, and we're going to be going through that from week 6 to 14. And starting off is tonight's dumpster fire game between the Washington Foreskins and the Chicago Bears. And I took the Chicago Bears because I think their defense is going to be able to get a stop against Carson Wentz and the Commanders. Offensively, the Commanders aren't really that much better. They do have more yards than the Chicago Bears. They average more yards. But from a point standpoint, the Commanders average around 18, while the Bears average around 17. So, not really much of an advantage for the Commanders. And I was originally going to take the Commanders because I felt like this is a game that they had to win. But I think the Bears will stay undefeated at home. And now we'll transition to the Sunday games where we have the San Francisco 49ers taking on the Atlanta Falcons. The only 10 o'clock game that's going to be taking place out of the NFC matchups. And I think this is going to be a trap game for San Fran. And just because of the injuries for San Fran, I wouldn't be insanely shocked to see Atlanta win. But I think overall San Fran is a more complete team. Offensively, they'll put up enough points. And defensively, this is one of, if not the best defenses in the league. And then we'll go over here because these are the later games. We've got the New York Jets taking on the Green Bay Packers. The Jets are unbeaten on the road, but unlike the Chicago Bears, I don't think the Jets will stay unbeaten on the road. I think the Packers will take care of business at home in Lambeau. I don't think there's any world where the Packers lose to two New Jersey teams in a row unless Aaron Rodgers is not on that team. I think the Packers defensively are sound enough to keep the Jets in check. And I think the Green Bay Packers will be able to get the job done and beat the New Jersey Jets. Next up, we go to the Cincinnati Bengals taking on the New Orleans Saints. I got the Bengals winning this one because their offense is far more explosive than New Orleans, despite the showing that they had last week, but Seattle's defense is trash. The Bengals defensively, I think, can keep New Orleans in check. I think New Orleans can keep this surprisingly close. But I like the Bengals to pull out the win here against the New Orleans Saints because they are a more complete team than the Saints. Next up, we go to the Ravens taking on the New Jersey Giants. Despite the fact that the Giants are 4-1, I'm taking the Ravens in this one. Again, a more complete team defensively. I think despite the fact that they've given up the most passing yards to opposing quarterbacks, I don't think Daniel Jones dials up enough to beat the Baltimore Ravens. Lamar Jackson, I think, is going to cook the Giants. But, at the same time, I could see the Giants keeping it pretty close with the Baltimore Ravens. Or the Ravens just, blow them out. I think the Giants probably keep it somewhat close. And then, early mid-fourth quarter, the Ravens start to pull away and dismantle the Giants. And then next up, we have the Tampa Bay Buccaneers taking on the Pittsburgh Steelers. I like the Buccaneers to win this one. I think defensively they're more than capable of slowing down Kenny Pickett. If the Bills could do it with their backups, then I have no doubt in my mind the Buccaneers can shut down Kenny Pickett, just entirely. Harris hasn't been much of anything. Kenny Pickett hasn't really done a whole lot. He didn't play bad last week against Buffalo considering the conditions, but he just did not have an ideal game. They just couldn't convert in the red zone. And then we'll go to this game. We got the Minnesota Vikings at Miami. And right now, both the quarterbacks, Tua and Teddy, are in the concussion protocol. I don't know if that's going to be the case by the time this video comes out. But right now, Skylar Thompson appears to be the quarterback. And right now, I've got the Minnesota Vikings to win this game. I think they will blow them out if Skylar Thompson's the quarterback. But I think if Teddy Bridgewater's in, I think the Vikings do win. But I don't think it's by a whole lot. If Tua is in, I think Miami just flat out wins this game. But I like the Minnesota Vikings to come out and dismantle the Miami Dolphins. And then we'll go to the AFC games. We had the Jacksonville Jaguars taking on the Colts. And I don't know why everybody's picking the Jacksonville Jaguars. They just lost to the Houston Texans, and the streak only applies when the Colts play the Jaguars in Jacksonville. I think with Jonathan Taylor coming back, I think he can reestablish himself. I kind of need him to for fantasy purposes, but that's besides the point. I think the Colts get themselves, back on track, but I think the Jaguars do make it somewhat close. But I see the Colts pulling this one out in a nail-biter. But at the same time, I feel like JT gets himself reestablished as one of the best backs in the league. Speaking of one of the best backs in the league, I got Nick Chubb and the Browns taking care of business against the New England Patriots. Offensively, the Browns are a far more sound team. Defensively, the Browns are terrific. While for the Patriots, they're coming off a win against the Lions, who, I guess just proved to be a fluke offensively, and defensively, they still suck. I like Ramondre Stevenson this week, especially if Damian Harris is out. And even if Damian Harris is in, I think Ramondre Stevenson will get a lot of the carries because if they rush Damian Harris back, I feel like he can tear something very vital, and that will leave Ramondre Stevenson as the number one back in New England. But on the other side, like Mac Jones is injured, but Jacoby Brissett, they've been working with backup the entire season. Regardless, I think Nick Chubb does more than enough to smash the Patriots to the ground and win this game. I think they win by 2 scores. And then we'll transition over here because these games start before Bills-Chiefs. We got the Cardinals at the Seahawks, and I actually took the the Seahawks this week because I just like what they're doing offensively. Geno Smith is not that bad of a quarterback, and with the new Modern Warfare coming out soon, I think Kyler Murray is going to start getting into his funk. I'm not sure if it's out right now, but even if it isn't, I think Kyler Murray and the Cardinals are still going to fall short. I'm totally kidding about the Modern Warfare thing, but overall, I think not having DeAndre Hopkins this week will hurt the Cardinals, but it's the last week he's not playing. So that's good for the Arizona Cardinals. And I think for the Seattle Seahawks, defensively, they're not that great. So I think this will be a shootout. But I think that Seattle Seahawks can do more than enough to pull this one out of their rear ends. And then we have another game that I think should be, it's going to be a dumpster fire. We have the Panthers at the Rams. Look, LA, if you guys don't win this game, I am convinced you guys are not going to the playoffs this year. I'm taking you guys to win because you're a more complete team than Carolina, and the Panthers just flat out suck. Defensively, the Panthers are a solid team, but offensively, they're not going to have any sort of rhythm, so you better smash this team. I think they're going to dismantle the Carolina Panthers this week. And then we have what honestly should have been one of the primetime games this week. I don't care if it's the Thursday night. I don't care if it's the Sunday night. Hell, I'd much rather watch Bills Chiefs over Broncos Chargers on Monday night. Not because I don't like the Chargers, but the Broncos just were miserable on Thursday night. I like the Bills in this one narrowly. I think with the injuries, it's definitely going to hurt the Bills, and you can never count out Patrick Mahomes. So that's why I think this would be a relatively close game for the Buffalo Bills and the Kansas City Chiefs. And the Bills are going to have to learn to pull out close games against, elite teams like the Chiefs. They pulled out a close one by the Ravens, but, if I'm being honest, they did kind of get helped by the refs. I'm not going to lie. But I do see the Buffalo Bills and Josh Allen dismantling that Chiefs defense, and I think the Bills defense is more likely to make a stop than the Kansas City Chiefs are. But I would not be surprised to see Kansas City win this game if I'm being honest. Next up, we got the Dallas Cowboys going into Philadelphia. And I was originally going to take the Dallas Cowboys because their defense is dynamite. It's elite. But I think the Philadelphia Eagles can keep it going. I think they'll continue to go undefeated. They'll be 6-0. I think offensively, this team is very sound. And defensively, they should be able to slow down Cooper Rush. Regardless, an undefeated record from either Cooper Rush or the Philadelphia Eagles is going to be broken this week. And I think it'll be in the form of a somewhat low-scoring game for the Philadelphia Eagles, as I think Dallas will be able to keep them in check. But that defense will only be able to keep them in check for so long. And then we got the Denver Broncos and the Chargers. I have the Chargers blowing out the Broncos because I don't like Denver in this game. I never want to see them on a primetime screen again. I never want to see them Just, oh my God, they were so miserable on Thursday night against the Colts. It's fucking insane. Excuse my French if you hear that. But no, I think the Chargers are a far more complete team. Offensively, they are more sound. Defensively, they're a great team. And Broncos country is going to die on Monday night. And I think a lot of us are going to die on Monday night. As I think the Chargers, like watching the Broncos, we're going to die watching the Broncos because they're just miserable. I think the Chargers absolutely blow the Broncos out. And I guess I should give a score prediction for each of these games. So I guess I should have done that while I was picking the games, but it is what it is. I got the Bears winning this game 24-14. I got the 49ers beating the Atlanta Falcons 21-14. I got the Seahawks beating the Cardinals in a shootout here 34-30. I got the Rams smacking around the Carolina Panthers 31-10. I got the Eagles beating the Cowboys 22-16. I got the Packers beating the Jets 27-16. I got the Bengals beating the Saints in a surprisingly close game, 24-16. I got the Ravens beating the Giants 24-17. 28-17. My bad. Buccaneers shut down the Steelers. I'm gonna call it 37-0. And then we got the Vikings and the Dolphins. I think the Vikings win this game 34-20. I got the Colts beating the Jaguars in this one in a close game. I got them winning 20-16. I got the Browns beating the Patriots 26-21. I have the Bills beating the Kansas City Chiefs 30-24. And then I got the Chargers blowing out the Denver Broncos in this one 38-10. And there you go. That should just about do it for all my picks and my scores. Let me know what you guys think down in the comments below. Do you agree with these picks? Do you disagree with these picks? Let me know. But yeah, with that being said, you guys, if you enjoyed this video, be sure to hit that like button down below, subscribe if you're new, and click that notification bell to get all the latest news on all my latest content. And with that being said, I will see you guys in the next video.